All right, we're back. We're going to model the head of our lamp. A couple things I want to check out before we do that. I'm changing my workspace from this 4x4 quad. I'm going to change it to a 2 side-by-side layout. Okay, this one I want to be in perspective view, and let's do default shading. I'm going to turn on edge faces, so you can hit F4 or not. Yeah, edge faces. And then this one I want to have right now. We can have it as a front view for now, and then we can zoom in a little bit here. Most of my work is going to be in the perspective view, so I can kind of shrink this down. Now, a couple other little things for really what I want everything in my list here to have the word sconce in it so that we can group things later on by looking for them by the word. If you notice, if I go in the search menu, I can type in the word sconce and everything that's part of this sconce will show up. But that first word, wall plate, isn't showing up because it doesn't have the word sconce in there. So I want to edit the name of that. I can do it by clicking here or double clicking here, but I can go over here as well under modify. And let's just call it sconce wall plate. So SCON sconce. So that is just organizing our workspace so that we can find stuff later on as our scene grows. And let's say we export this and put it into another scene later on, everything will be grouped by the name as well. All right, let's get modeling. We want to model this lamp head. Okay, so if you look at it, I have this kind of conical shape here. We're going to start with a cylinder and stretch it. We're going to do a button on this side and detach it so we can change the color. And then we're going to do a skewed stretch on the face here in order to make the lampshade look good at an angle. So let's just start right away. And I'm going to go into create. We're going to grab a cylinder. And I don't want to do it where this is already modeled. I'm just going to kind of come off to the right here. And we want this to be a 2-inch diameter circle. So I'm just going to draw a little bit of a circle. And then as you can see in my perspective view here, I can swing this around. Let's change it. So 2-inch diameter would be 1-inch radius. So I'm going to type in 1 there. And I'm going to do it about 3 inches long. If you want to eyeball it, you can go this way. I like heights to be positive. I'm just going to type in 3, and that is fine for the end cap. So it's far enough away from here, I can work on it. And what I want to do now is I want to change this to an editable poly. If I right click on it, I get my quad menu. It's giving me the right 2 of the 4. Sometimes there's other things in here. I can convert this to an editable poly. This is a little different than if I go into my modify menu and I find edit poly. Okay, I know a few of us have found it that way. Very similar, but if you go to the help website here, it will explain a few of the nuances and differences in here. So just so we're all on the same page, I'm going to use editable poly from the quad menu so you see exactly the same tools as I do. If your workspace is a little different, you might want to change it to default to follow along. Polygon. I'm going to click on the end. We're going to stretch this using my scale tool. So if I long hold on here, you'll see there's some other choices. I want the top one. This is uniform scale, so everything can scale together. But you notice I can still override and I can stretch the height here. Going on this one, I'm going to hit undo, Control Z. Or if I grab this bottom only, I can stretch it this way. Okay. So I do have some options, but I want to do uniform so it stretches this face of this all directions equally. So I grab it in the middle and that's going to stretch this. So I'm trying to duplicate the shape of this cone. So it starts out about 2 inches and it grows up to about 3 inches here. That's probably pretty good. Now let's go to the back side here and we are going to try to work on modeling this knob. Okay, so I'm just going to deselect off of there. I'm going to rotate my space here, hold my Alt key and depress my middle wheel button. Or if that's not cooperating, you can grab your ring and spin it around. Now, we're going to click on our poly face on this end of the cylinder. And we are going to use some of our polygon tools for our poly modeling ribbon. If your ribbon is minimized, maximize it using this min max button. Okay, and pull it down. And you should see, as soon as you make sure you're clicked on number 4 polygon in the face, this toolbar opens up. We want to inset this. So I'm going to go inset. Now I could free inset it like this and drag that in, but if you notice, because I'm zoomed in so much, I don't have a lot of control. It kind of freaks out and goes fast. So I'm going to actually undo that, and I'm going to go down and pull in my inset settings and change this up a little bit. Right now it's saying from the edge of my cylinder, we're going in 2.4 inches. Well, that's going this direction. The middle is 1 inch, so it's going all the way past another inch and 0.4. So that's why it looks weird. We need to have this less than an inch. So I'm going to actually set this here at about 0.5 of an inch. Okay, we're going to go halfway in and see what that looks like. Okay, so that takes it from here to here, a ½ inch in, and it's going to draw another circle. Yes, I like that. And I am going to click on the green accept button in order to lock that down. Unless I do that, all bets are off. I don't want to be stuck in the scale tool. I'm just going to click and deselect off of it by coming up and going back to my move tool or hitting W on your keyboard. Now, if I move this, and I forget to go to extrude, notice what happens. Okay, I pull that out. I don't want to do that right now. I want to extrude that out. So I'm going to grab my extrude button and I'm going to pull that out this way, about a ½ of an inch. Okay, so if you notice, we don't really have that ½ of an inch in there. You can eyeball it, otherwise pull the menu down. Let's make it exactly about a ½ of an inch by typing it in here, 0.5. All right, that works. What I want to do now is, let's say I decide to chamfer this now, so it looks more accurate according to my drawing here. If you notice, when I zoom in, that button is rounded on there. So if I'm trying to make this look the same, I would use my chamfer tool. Makes sense, right? So I click back on here. Now, why that disappeared is because I didn't click my X or my check button on here. So I can reselect it and then check to accept. Now, I want to chamfer just the edge around here, right? So if I click on, let's go back and change my tools. It's up here in the menu. If you need more room to see all your tool menu, you can pull this over and have 2 columns. Okay, right now we're not really using any of these bottom ones, so I don't need that. We're using the ribbon up on top, so I can squish this back down. But sometimes we will use that. So let's squish this over. And I want to grab the edge. So here's my edge tool. If I try border now, nothing will happen. We'll use that in a few minutes on the other end of this lamp. But border does not work now. We need edge. And I click on edge, and that gives me the edge. Now, how do I loop this whole thing around in order to give me the whole edge? We want to use the loop tool. But if you notice, if I go up and click on it, nothing happens. Oh, my loop tool is a piece of junk. It doesn't work, right? No, it's designed to loop things in the middle of your object or polygons. But in this case, if I want to loop the end of my cylinder because it's reading it as 2 different types of polygons meeting together, we have to actually pull down this arrow and we have the option loop a cylinder end. So this is one of the biggest things that we forget in the beginning. We can do it, but you have to find the specific tool to do it because it works just a little bit different in the programming. Now I have it looped. I can go up and chamfer this. So I'm going to pull down my chamfer settings so I can kind of adjust it as we go. We don't want it to go in too far. I just want to chamfer this about 1/10 of an inch here. So I'm going to do 0.1. And one iteration would be okay. I'm going to turn this up to 2, and it's going to smooth things out just a tiny bit. For all intents and purposes, it doubles that, and now we have a few more sub items. Make sure you click check mark to sign off of that, and we have one more thing to do on the back side of this, which is going to be this button now. So we got that's a little lock nut on there to hold the lamp part into the metal. That screws on, but then this is the button that you would push or twist in order to turn the lamp on. I'm going to say it looks like a push button. So let's go back up, and we need to inset that, right? Now our tool's not there. Why not? We're not in the right, we're on this edge tool. We need to go back into polygon. So select your polygon, notice your smart ribbon changes. Now it gives me the inset tool. Click on this, and we're going to inset a new poly on this surface. I'm going to pull the menu down so we can set it. Now it's saying 1/2 inch from here is going all the way through, and it's giving us this reversed, mixed up mess of a poly. So we need to turn this down. Halfway from here to here would be 0.25. Let's see what that looks like. And that's pretty good. Okay, so we're going to go with that. Make sure you click check. If you want to adjust a little different, that's fine. Let's extrude that another 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go to extrude settings. It remembers that from 1/2 inch before, and click accept. All right, we are looking good. But now here's what I want to do. If I change the color of this part here, right? We're going to have the lamp head black and the buttons white if we mimic what we have there. If I change the lamp head to black, let's do it real quick. What happens? The entire thing changes to black. That's not what we want. So what we need to do is we need to detach the lamp switch here. Okay, we're going to come back in the next video, and I'll show you how to detach that and change that. We're going to start on that by finding a few different selections, how to select just the right part using some of our tools, understanding loop and ring. In order to do that, we will see you in the next one. Thanks for joining me on the first part of this build of our lamp head, and looking forward to the next part. Join me again.